Hey, lovers! Welcome to the Book Lovers Club, the podcast where we celebrate Black Sapphic love stories, one book at a time. I'm your host, Joy, a married lesbian, lifelong book lover, and relational communication scholar. Here, we don't just read the romance, we learn from it. I believe that love stories can do more than just entertain us. They can teach us how to love better, how to see ourselves more clearly, and how to create the love life of our dreams. Each week, I'll dive into sapphic stories written for us and by us, while weaving in personal insights and communication lessons you can take off the page. So grab your drink, get cozy, and let's turn the page together. Welcome to the club. Hey, book lovers, welcome back to another episode of the Book Lovers Club. And I hope y'all enjoyed the end of July. It's a new month. It's the first of the month. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Okay. Happy August. I feel like summer is flying by and I'm over it. The weather in Chicago has been crazy, so it's been really difficult to enjoy the summer to the full capacity because of the weather. We've literally never had tornadoes like this, and now we're trending. We're getting the most tornadoes. And Chicagoans used to like really pride themselves on, Chicago, we don't get tornadoes like that. We can't say that anymore. The fact that we're leading in tornadoes is unreal, okay? But I am excited because this month, August, means a lot to me. So I am creeping closer to my 1 year anniversary of the founding and launching of this here podcast and book endeavor. And I don't know, I've just been reflecting, y'all, because I really accomplished a lot this past year. So this podcast officially launched on August 30th of 2025. Okay, so I am coming up on my 1 year. That was also part of the reason why I wanted to have the virtual book festival, was to celebrate everything that I've accomplished this year and create a space to really pour into the authors that came on my podcast as guests and the books that we've read, and just connect with the authors that wrote some of our favorite books. And what I envisioned for that is completely surpassed anything that I could have thought of. Originally, when I made a plan to do the Book Lovers Fest, it was really just targeting the authors that had came on my podcast already, that I interviewed, because I already had a relationship with them and had connected with them. I didn't anticipate so many additional authors wanting to participate in the festival and join me and be involved. I really didn't think that that would happen. And the fact that we're almost at 20 attending authors and just the excitement for it, I'm also intentionally keeping the book event smaller. I really want this to be an experience, something that's more intimate, give people an opportunity to really talk to the authors and learn more about them and their books. And I just feel like sometimes the really big book events, it's so much going on, and usually you're standing in line. And by the time you get to the author, you really only have a short window to get your book signed and maybe take a picture with them. This really gives the readers and the attendees an opportunity to have more interaction and more conversation and more intentional connection with the authors, and also be able to connect with each other. So the festival is going to be on September 19th and 20th. All right. And we're actually almost sold out of tickets. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, your window might be closing. So I'm just really excited for the event and just so grateful for everybody that's offered to help, that have stepped up, because I am a one person team, and people have reached out and said, look, I see everything that you're doing. How can I help? How can I support? And the Capricorn in me and the eldest daughter, well, I'm the only girl, but you know the fact that I struggle with asking for help, and so many people have just been very, proactive in offering the help, has been very helpful. Okay. So there is a new development during the festival. There will be a live book discussion, and Carmen Lee has agreed to join us for the discussion, and we'll be discussing her Peach Blossom series. So we've read a couple of Carmen Lee books together. So I'm really excited for people to be able to connect directly with her to ask questions and just engage with her about that book series that she wrote. I love the Peach Blossom series, okay? So if you are attending the festival, you have now until September 19th. Well, actually, the book club meeting's on Sunday, the 20th. But you have until now, until September 20th, to read one or all of the books in the Peach Blossom series so that, we could talk to Carmen Lee directly and be able to ask about some of our favorite characters and the inspiration behind the story. So I'm really excited. That book series is very popular and a lot of people have read it. So I think it'll be a really good time. And I really enjoyed talking with her when I interviewed her. So I know that y'all are going to enjoy connecting with her too. Okay, but there will be so many other opportunities for you all to connect directly with the authors that have written some of our favorite books. So it's so many panels happening during this festival. And then right now is the window to submit nominations for the first Book Lovers Awards ceremony. Okay, so if you have any favorite books that you've read in this genre, okay, your favorite Black Sapphic reads, please head to my website and nominate those books for an award. All of the information that you need to do so is there on my website. But I am tired of waiting for the publishing industry to recognize the brilliance that is in the Black Sapphic literature community, okay? Why do we need to wait for them to recognize us? I feel like we can recognize and celebrate ourselves, and that's what I'm going to do. So let's nominate some people and vote on these books. And it's not just books, like you can nominate book characters, your favorite book couple, your favorite audiobook narrator, your favorite book creator. So if there's someone out there that's really been amplifying Black Sapphic books and putting out content, let's nominate them, let's celebrate them. But we are no longer waiting for a seat at somebody else's table, okay? We're going to create our own. And that's how I feel. And that's what it's going to be. So please join me in helping me celebrate the Black Sapphic stories that we know and love, and head on over to the website and submit your nominations. August 7th is the deadline. And then after that, we will start voting. So I've been slowly working through the books of the authors that are participating in the festival. So this month we will be reading 2 books. If you're looking for additional books, look, I have all the book recs. I'll also be talking to you all about some of the books I've recently read this month. I've been reading a lot of arcs and I need to yap about them. So this month, I'm going to do things a little different. Because it's my anniversary month, I'm giving y'all extra content. So I'm dropping some bonus episodes this month to highlight some more Black Sapphic authors. So I have some additional interviews. I usually drop an interview at the end of the month, but we're going to have more author interviews coming out this month, okay? So I will announce when those episodes will air. Also, because I've been reading these arcs, each episode this month, I'll highlight one of the arcs that I've read and just make sure that it's on your radar so that you all know and can add it to your TBR. Okay. Because these authors have been dropping new releases like hotcakes. Okay. And I'm gobbling them up. Before we get into the nitty gritty of what we're going to be reading in August, I want to kick off the conversation with some books that I've read recently. Also, I hope you all had a chance to listen to my episode that aired last week. My interview with author Jessica Lewis dropped. So I've also read her book, Hallie's Rules for a Recovering Romantic. So if you are someone who loves a young adult book, I highly recommend that book, y'all. And it is a very good book to read for the summer. But go and listen to the episode that aired last week so you can learn more about that book. And I just think we had such a great conversation about the importance of Black Sapphic representation in the young adult genre. I'm definitely about to read her vampire book that she has on her Patreon, The Grampire. She sold me, okay? So once I get caught up on all of these arcs that I'm reading, I am planning to transition over to that book that she's writing on her Patreon because I love anything vampires, and I just love the premise of it. But I just finished Kissing the Ops by L.M. Bennett, and y'all, I had to tell somebody that book is really good. Low key, it might be my new favorite out of the entire series. Now, I don't know if she's gonna end the series with this book. I hope she got like at least one more coming out because I feel like she could still go somewhere with like if she wanted to write another book in this series. But y'all will not be disappointed, okay? This book is good. And then if you've read any other books in the Hot Mics series, so it's two other books in this series. So The Art of Going Rogue, and then the book that she dropped earlier this year, Track 4 is Not About You. Both of those books are really good. But I love how characters from those books showed up in this one. So it really does tie all of the books in the series together. But this particular book is like a enemies to lovers. So it's two women rappers who are beefing with each other. Okay, and I'm not gonna give y'all no spoilers. Okay, that's like literally the premise of the book. Okay, this is not a spoiler. But two of the women, they're rivals in the rap game. So imagine like Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion if they fell in love. Okay, and low key, Romy, she's very Nicki coded. But if Nicki were sane, the whole time I was reading it, I was like, "Oh my God, this reads like Nicki Minaj." And one thing L.M. Bennett is gonna do is research some shit, okay? The books always feel like very authentic to whatever profession, industry, niche she's highlighting. Like every book of hers, they always feel very well researched. So I've read a lot of her books, okay? She actually might be my most read Black Sapphic author. I've read a lot of her books. This book series, so this is the Hot Mics series. The other book series of hers that I like really, really love is the Competing Desires book series. And I always tell people about those books because I feel like people don't talk about them enough. So that entire book series, the Competing Desires series, is like rivals to lovers, enemies to lovers. And I feel like she tapped into that and she got in her bag with this one, with Kissing the Ops. Okay. And I was getting my life because I really love women's hip hop. And I talk about women's hip hop on my podcast every now and again because it's something I'm really like into and love and passionate about. And like I told y'all, like Romy is really giving me Nicki Minaj vibes. But it's a lot of women rappers in this book. They remind me so much of the women rappers out right now. Like I could tell she pulled some inspiration from what's currently happening in the industry. Cause it just felt like I was watching MTV, like visualizing stuff that's already happening with like Cardi and Lotto, Cardi and Nicki, Meg and Nicki. Like it's so much rap beef right now, you know, Pluto and YK Niece. So if you are somebody who loves women's hip hop, loves a good enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers, like I think you should read this book. Read it because it's good. But if you are a fan of women's hip hop like me, you really will get your life, okay? But I don't want to spoil it for you. So far, nothing I've told you is a spoiler. Like the book is literally called Kissing the Ops. But yeah, I don't know. It just made me think about all of the stuff that's happening in women's hip hop right now. And there's so many rap beefs right now. Like, every time I look up, people are still talking about what happened between Cardi and Lotto. And like I told y'all in earlier episodes, like Lotto is not entitled to forgive Cardi for calling her pussy. She's not. I do get where y'all are coming from saying that she probably should forgive Cardi, but she don't have to. And some people hold a grudge. And if they were really as close as they appear to be, her feelings might really be hurt that Cardi said that. So if she can't move with her the same way before that happened, that's her prerogative. Okay. But Lotto and Doja Cat finna go on tour together. I will definitely be trying to get tickets to that. Okay. I love Doja Cat too. I am a fan. But yeah, I don't know. This book just really got me in my like women's hip hop feels. And I cannot wait for y'all to be able to read it. So this book comes out on August 14th. Each book in this series is talking about people in the music industry. And I don't know, I just feel like she really researched it and did it justice. So anyway, I had to tell y'all about that. But I'm currently reading D.O. Robinson's new book. So she just dropped a very spicy very spicy sapphic novella called Peach Season. The book come out the gate swinging, okay? The spice is spicy. One thing D.O. Robinson gonna do, baby, is write a good spicy book. And the fact that she's gonna be on the panel, the Spice is Right panel during the Book Lovers Fest, I can't wait to talk to her about how she comes up with this stuff. So it's available now. It's on Kindle Unlimited. And I'm currently reading Erica Alexander's new book. So she had a book that came out in July. I told y'all about that when I had announced some new releases that were coming out. And her book came out, I believe, on July 10th, Sweet as Pie. So Sweet Like Honey came out first. And then this is the second book in that series. So I'm actively reading a lot of books, okay? I juggle multiple books. I don't know if other people do that, but that is something that I do. So I'll listen to audiobooks and then I'm reading books on my Kindle. So I'm also listening to some audiobooks right now too. Like I'm listening to a Black Sapphic audiobook, which I will tell y'all about at the end of the episode because it is one of the books that we're reading this month for August. I struggle because I have an endless, a never ending TBR. I have so many books on my TBR. But then sometimes I start rereading books that I loved. I am a really like chronic rereader. I don't know if that's a thing, but when I find a book that I love, I really do have to read it a couple times. It's like I don't want to leave that book universe, and it's hard for me to move on. When I read Granger's new book, The Alchemy of Souls, it literally sent me on a Granger rabbit hole, and I went back and started listening to the audiobooks all over again. Okay, so it derailed me because it was other books that I was planning on reading, but then I just didn't want to leave the underground and didn't want to leave Drew Collins. So I struggle because I'm a mood reader. Okay, I'm a mood reader. But I have this venture and I sign up for ARCs and I have these books on my TBR that I want to read and I'm slow with working through my TBR for real because I end up sucked somewhere else. Okay, my mood turns and I end up reading a different book. So wish me luck, y'all, because I really do have to get through these arcs. But anyway, I don't know how we got there. I go on a tangent. I really will go on a tangent. But speaking of tangents with the TBR, are you all people who are constantly seeking a new book to read, or do you take time to go back and reread books that you enjoyed? And I'm a different type of rereader too, because what'll happen is I'll read a book on like Kindle, and then I'll go get the audio book and listen to it. I could have did an immersive read, but I end up listening to the book later after I've read it. It's just so I don't know why I do this. Okay, so now I got the same book in multiple formats because y'all also know that when I find a book that I enjoy and it was a book that I read on my Kindle, I'll go and buy the paperback to have a trophy for my bookshelf. So there are literally some books that I own a paperback, the ebook, and the audiobook. It's crazy. This addiction is unreal. But this TBR situation versus reading books that's on my backlist or rereading, I'm like really struggling, okay? Because I've read some of these books multiple times and it's really hard to move on. I don't know if anybody else struggles with this, but I do. So I'll actively have 5 books I'm reading in progress, okay? I'm not someone that needs to read a book, finish a book before I can move on to another book. How my brain treats it is like I'm changing the channels between TV shows. I don't know. We all have our own reading preferences and our own reading styles. And that's something that I've learned about myself throughout this venture. So now that I'm coming up on my 1 year anniversary, I just was thinking about why I started this in the first place. There was a list that just got dropped, the top 100 books in lesbian literature, and they didn't highlight any Black authors, which I thought was absurd. But that really reminds me of why I started this podcast in the first place. I was having a difficult time finding the Black Sapphic book recs. And y'all, I have been exposed to so many new authors and so many new books through doing this. So I'm just very grateful for people, seeing what I'm doing and wanting to support it and wanting to come on my podcast as a guest and sending me books to read and things like that. But the fact that they had the top 100 lesbian books and none of them were black authors, like I said, is absurd. Okay, so before I conclude the episode, I want to make sure that I preview the books that we're going to be reading for August. So, Tethered by TJ Williams is one of the books that we're reading this month. And the second book that we're reading is A Queen's Paradise by T. Unique. Both of these authors are authors that are participating in the Book Lovers Fest. I'm going to go ahead and read the book description for Tethered by TJ Williams. And this is the book description that is from Goodreads. One boy, his mother, and a captain with secrets from her crew. Amongst the stars, all things lost are found. Marlo Rose has been fighting her ex, Dominic, for a decade. When he kidnaps their son, she sneaks onto his starship, planning to give him hell. Instead, she ends up caught, sequestered, and questioned by the captain. But Tenasera Sekhmith isn't what Marlo thought she was. And when it becomes clear that they're all just puppets in Dominic's eyes, Marlo convinces the stoic captain to help rescue her son. Tenasera promised herself she'd make no waves, catch no one's attention, and cruise under the radar. Misplacing her trust once changed the trajectory of her whole life. After the fallout from her last job, flying a pleasure yacht is supposed to be boring and easy, exactly what she wants. But finding Marlo on the ship changes everything. Marlo sees her, shadows and all, and it forces Tenasera to face things she tried to leave behind. Marlo doesn't expect to find on this journey that she dreaded something she'd given up. And Tenasera doesn't know she deserves happiness, but she doesn't want to lose this: a kid with big green eyes and his fierce, captivating mother. Y'all, that sounds good, okay? I've been dying for something different and a sci fi sapphic romance book. Come on. I'm here for it, okay? Black sapphic and sci fi? Yes. And I've already started listening to the audiobook, and the narrator is giving me life, okay? She's giving me life. All right, the next book that we're going to be reading is A Queen's Paradise by T. Unique. After spending over a decade in a healthy marriage to a stellar man and best-selling author, or so she thought, Aniko suddenly finds herself in her husband's shadow. Set on figuring out whether to call it quits, an unexpected night at the local lounge opens her up to a world full of new possibilities. When there's trouble in paradise, sometimes you must create your own, even if it comes at a cost. Ooh, that sounds good too. I need to know what happens, okay? Well, I hope y'all join me in reading these two books. If you are an audiobook lover like me, go ahead and cop that audiobook and get your life. Like I said, I've been enjoying the narrator so far. And T Unique, A Queen's Paradise, I heard so many good things about that book. So I think we're going to be in for a good ride this month. Thank y'all for rocking and rolling with me and supporting me throughout this journey. I'm just so grateful to come up on my 1 year anniversary. So this month, join me in celebrating the best of the Book Lovers Club and preparing for the first annual Book Lovers Fest. Thank you for tuning in to the Book Lovers Club. If you love today's episode, make sure you subscribe so you never miss a chapter. And if you're feeling generous, leave a review because you know those reviews help other lovers find us. So if you want to keep this conversation going, please join me on Instagram or hop on over to Fable to join the virtual book club. And until next time, remember, the stories we read can help us write the love lives of our dreams. See you next Sapphic Saturday.